Hello. I haven't seen really, I'm sure they exist. I haven't seen any videos specifically talking about how to EQ and microphones in that particular order. So I'm making one. I have a recording here. Currently I'm talking through a Rode NT2A. This in Velvet? Violet is an Audio-Technica RT AT2020. I can't talk anymore. Which, fun fact, I believe Taylor Swift used that very microphone on one of her latest albums. And something I wanted to EQ this, and I also wanted to specifically talk about why choosing the right microphone is important and the effects of how that affects, because people think, people fall into the trap thinking, I have a deep voice, and I do. I personally have a deep voice. I do have a deep voice just in general. However, if you have a deep voice, you want something that has a very crisp high end, like this microphone. Exactly. Whether, say, the Audio-Technica 2020 doesn't. It has a crisp bass. That means that if I play this, and this is me singing, by the way. This is me singing. And the reason for that is because I can't really sing. That's pretty much it. And I thought it would be a good example as well because of that. Farewell to you, my own true love. I'm sailing far away. So that's with the AT2020. Now, listen to it with this mic, the Rode, which is good for my voice. Farewell. Do you hear the difference? This is why it's important to get the microphone, to get the right microphone, because it doesn't matter whether or not, I'm putting myself off, it doesn't matter what the cost is. All that matters is that it's the right microphone for the job. All cost gets you is a good amp. That's it. If you have, cheap microphone will have a high noise floor. These don't, and then of course with these you have the interfaces because these aren't USB. It's one of those things. Just take a look at microphones. Microphones, for example. I've been testing what's it called again? A Sennheiser MKE 440. Absolutely ace microphone. The preamp, and what the preamp is the ampliphone microphone. Microphone amplifier. The ones in Canon specifically are notorious for being hideous in every single way. And it's the same both for the speaker and the mic. So, you have really good mic in, really good built-in stereo mics, but the amp is just, there is quite some EQing to be done. Well, not quite, a lot of EQing to be done. Which is why microphones like the MKE 440 have a built-in preamp. So what that means is that you turn down the amp in the camera as far as you possibly can and have the amp on the mic as high as possible, probably plus 20 dB, I imagine, decibels. And then that also means that if you're in especially loud environments, you can turn it down. And So it's, killing two birds with one stone. So you hear the difference, right? 80-20-20. And this is the Rode NT2A. Farewell to you, my home true love. I'm sailing far away. Do you hear the difference? Minus the noise. Do you hear the noise? The difference in that? Yes, exactly. So, let's EQ this. Let's do this. I might not master this simply because I have to screen record, right? I just have to. I don't have much of a choice in that. Someday. Yeah. Because otherwise the windows don't show. Now, a bit passive aggressive of me, but I will die on the hill that I do not. When people say, "Oh, well, this is what you do in the industry," I couldn't care less what you do in the industry. I only care about understanding why things are done the way they are in the industry, and doing things as efficiently and practically as possible. Which, if you understand why those things are as they are and are done as they are, then you can break the rules which are more like guidelines anyway. And guidelines for a reason, they're just a precedent set for people who don't exactly, or you're in a studio and you're working a specific way to a specific method, and everyone's on the same page, so it makes it easier, so everyone knows what each other's doing. So that being said, I'm going to EQ this. Not necessarily how bear in mind I have qualifications in this, not necessarily how I would do it on a professional job, more or less how I do it on a professional job. So what do I want first? Reverb. Reverb always makes everything sound glorious. Farewell. Exactly. My home true love, I'm sailing far. There's my watch. Casio F91W for you watch people out there. Yes, I'm back. I need to listen now. California, Cape Horn. I am leaving in the morning, love, in the cold, cold light of dawn. So fare thee well, my own true. You'd be surprised just how much reverb there usually is used on audio tracks. Even get this, if you're performing in a church, I guarantee someone somewhere is still going to put reverb on the track. It's, yeah. Through the stormy seas around Cape Horn. Actually, that sounded better, doesn't it? I am leaving in the morning, love, in the cold, cold light of dawn. Farewell to you, my home. Now this audio engineering, it doesn't matter what people say, is incredibly basic and incredibly easy. It's one of the easiest jobs you could ever do, as a matter of fact. The difficulty comes from learning the equipment, how the equipment operates, how it suffers under specific environments, which to use when, what, where, what environment, which instrument, drums, accordion, the type, the polar patterns, the frequency responses. Yeah, that's what's hard. This isn't hard. This is the easiest part. And I'm just dealing with sliders here. If I had a mixer, a mixing desk, each one of these would be, say, Pro Tools, for example, Avid Media Pro Tools. Each one of these would be an individual track. And then the likelihood is that, unlike in the tape days, where you would EQ it, you'd record them, I'm getting ahead of my mouth here, where you would record all of the tracks onto tape, and then you'd play all the tracks back through the mixer. And that would be recording them with each individual track here. You'd record them, and then you'd play them back through the mixer, and then you'd have this, an EQ, and then you'd EQ each track. So you have all the volumes and everything set on the tapes. Then you record through the mixer, get all that done, and then that goes to the master track, which is just a single stereo, so onto a single master tape, and then the master tape gets mastered, and then that, yes, etc., etc., and then you have the master tape, which is a tape that is used for all of the other recordings, other copies, and records, for example. Master records are made differently, they're manufactured differently. Just a fun little fact. So what I'm doing here, this is the hardest job. The hearing. Because what I have to do is I'm listening to very specific frequencies. So forgetting all of that, all the recording stuff, the EQing is a bit, which is the hardest when it comes to this exact, I knock the mic when it comes to this exact thing. So I'm listening to problem frequencies. Love, I'm sailing, and you can find them out very easily by simply doing this. I'm bound for California. See this? But I will return. Almost there. Someday. That's the problem. Yes, I'm bound for I'm just going to take that out. Hear what the difference it makes without it. That's a problem frequency. See, if you do this, it makes it sound terrible, right? If you do this, it compresses it, which you don't want, as you can hear. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of me. Farewell to you, my own true love. I'm sailing far away. I'm bound for California, but I will return someday. That's yes, fine. For California, through the stormy seas around Cape Horn, I am leaving in the morning, love, in the cold, cold light of dawn. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me. There's an issue here somewhere. When I think of me. Farewell to you. You hear that? Farewell. That. Farewell to you. Farewell. And it's gone. My home.
home, true love. I'm sailing far away. I'm bound
And that's about it.
for
I mean, I could fet on fine-tune this
but
forever.
I will return someday.
But yeah, this is
Yes, I'm bound
how I made
for
my single,
California.
as I released earlier this year, called Past Tense. You can find it on Spotify.
I am leaving in
Only, you know, I put months into that, not just a few
the
minutes.
cold, cold night of dawn. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
true.
the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of me.
So, all I have to do is just copy that to here. Paste. Now it's this. Ah, yes. There's a bit of guitar here, isn't there? Delete. I'll just pop that, give it some time.
Someday
Ah,
I think of me. Someday, yes, I'm bound for California.
what did I do here exactly?
California, I'm bound for. I'm sailing far.
That's what I did. Okay. That's the end of that. Okay. Okay. Being an numpty.
When I think of me.
Now what I'm going to do is, and I cannot be bothered to go through and tune this, so I'm just going to use, I'm simply just going to use a preset.
Farewell.
Single band compressors can make or break things very easily.
I'm sailing far away. I'm bound.
You now need to EQ it again. I'll do that with the master.
But I will return someday. Yes, I'm bound for California.
Sometimes, yeah, I really like the top
Through the
drummer.
stormy seas around Cape Horn, I am leaving in the morning, love, in the cold,
Yeah.
cold light of dawn. So fare thee well.
Anyway, okay, so
Farewell to you, my home, true love.
and you know, I can't really get it much better than that. With just like doing this, I can't get it much better than this, because, well, it's the wrong mic. You know, you can change. Some microphones are more malleable than others in what you can do with them. But at the end of the day, you cannot change how the microphone fundamentally sounds. Like the new ear mics, they're really, really good. They're cheap, incredibly cheap. They're impeccable. Yes, they have noise. That is true. They're noisier. They have a higher noise floor than some. But they are really, really good. And you can remove that with EQ. They also have a good amount of sibilance, which is good if that's good for you, you know. Don't just pass up. Don't overspend if there's no point. I mean, I have these mics simply for, the 80-20-20 was because I wanted to get into streaming and content creation. And that paid off. And I got this because I further wanted to get into music and also voiceover, things like that. And in many ways, I somewhat did. I mean, I ended up using them. These, of all things, to record in Melodian, which completely the wrong tools for the job. But I made it work, so At least, I hope I did. Not really for me to judge.
Farewell to you, my home true love.
I'm going to use Amplify for this.
I am bound for California.
Why is it so noisy?
But I will return.
It's not my cable, I don't think. I've been having issues with my XLR cable.
Farewell to you, my home true love. I'm sailing far away. I am bound for California.
Hear that proximity effect there? This is the proximity effect, and if I just move back a bit, do you hear the difference in my voice as I come really, really close and move back again, back to my normal position? That is very important for instruments, particularly voiceovers. For example, take Two Set Violin YouTube channel. If I recall, they use this exact microphone, or maybe the NT1A, or did in some videos. And that is way over, and you can hear a whole room and everything. Because you see, this is completely the wrong microphone for that. So they had to turn the gain all the way up, whereas this microphone is meant to be used about here. And I mean, I have smaller hands, mine are 18 long, index finger to wrist. And if you spread out your little finger and thumb as far as possible, put it between your mouth and the mic, that's roughly the distance from your face that it should be. Each microphone is different. Take Blue Snowballs. I am not a fan of Blue Snowballs. Neither am I a fan of Yetis. The reason for that is because their sweet spot is tiny, absolutely tiny. If I move around this microphone, it will sound relatively okay until I start going out here or get really, really close. Whereas a Blue Yeti, on the other hand, because they're cheaper and people usually have them on basic standard desk stands way over yonder, they aren't, because their sweet spot is so small and they aren't all that malleable. It means that a lot of the YouTube channels who say, yeah, the Blue Yetis are great microphones, while their audio sounds atrocious, that's why. It's a great mic, not necessarily, just not used appropriately, wording that in a different way, not used to its advantage. So yeah, they are wonderful mics, but I'd never, somebody, a dear friend of mine uses a Snowball. I think he got one. I think he still uses it. His audio sounds great, and it's because he has it on an arm, and he uses it how, appropriately. That's just the world of audio, it's, you win some, you lose some. It's not very forgiving.
I am bound for California, but I will return someday. Yes, I'm bound for California.
And of course, this is because this is a different microphone. It means I have to EQ it differently.
I am leaving in the morning, love, in the cold, cold light of dawn. So very well, my own true love, when I return night it will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool grieves me. Farewell to you, my home true love, I'm sailing far away. I am bound for California, but I will return someday.
This is going to be
Yes,
harder.
I'm bound for California, through the stormy seas around Cape Horn. I am leaving in the morning, love.
See,
In the cold, cold
I was too close to
light
this microphone when I was singing.
So very well, my own true love. When I return, united we'll be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool grieves me, but my darling, to you, my home true love, I'm sailing far away. I am bound for
This is a very crisp microphone. You can just hear it.
but I will return someday. Yes, I'm bound for
Like this one, which is more malleable, this one just sounds better. But it's more work, and you have to, you know, get it right, like I didn't. Evidently.
In the cold, cold light of dawn. So very well, my own true love. When I return, united we'll be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool grieves me, but my darling, when I think of me.
There's something in there.
My home,
Something in the bass.
I'm sailing far away. I am bound for California.
It's that I can hear.
I will return someday. Yes, I'm bound for California, through the stormy seas around.
This EQ is really bad, but I'm just going to leave. Just going to keep it for now.
Through the stormy seas around Cape Horn.
Now, compressor. Oops, no, I want single band, don't I? Yeah, this is Premiere. One does not simply search for what they want. And now, let's see.
I am leaving in the morning, love, in the cold, cold light of dawn.
I was way too close to this mic. I wonder if I can knock out. Where is that even coming from, that noise? That's what baffles me. Anyway, let's just ignore it for now.
To you, my
The other important thing about this,
farewell to you,
removing the
my
breath,
home true love.
that I'm sailing far away. Repeat.
True love, I'm sailing. Love, I'm sailing far away.
See, I don't exactly have very large lung capacity.
I'm sailing far away. I am bound for California, but I
move. But I will return someday.
But I will return someday.
Let's move that and move that up. Turn. Someday.
Someday.
Closer. a good part of music, singing, editing singing is also doing this.
Someday, yes, I'm bound for California.
Because if you remove all of the breaths, it sounds wrong. Very, very wrong. So,
but I will return someday.
I think, take that out. What I'm going to do with this particular breath is this.
Yes, I'm
Down a bit more. That's probably way too much.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I'm
Too much.
Yes, I'm bound
That's better.
for California. Through the stormy seas around Cape Horn. Cape Horn. I am leaving in the morning, love. In the cold.
And remove that too. Honestly, it is just at your discretion at this point.
Love. In the cold, cold light.
That forward.
Love. In the cold, cold.
More.
Love. In the cold, cold.
A bit more.
Love. In the cold, cold. Morning, love. In the cold, cold light of dawn. So fair.
And delete.
Of dawn. So fair.
Yeah. Get rid of that. Get rid of that.
So very well, my own true love. When I return, I.
That click and there can go. I'm going to keep this, turn this down. Was it 17?
Love. When I return, I.
That.
When I return, I.
There are many ways you can deal with that. You can either work out where it is, cut around it, then EQ it out, or you can try your hand at a de-esser, messing around with a de-esser.
Night it will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool Green.
That can go. Oh, it grieves me, darling, when I feel
Green of Liverpool Green. Liverpool Green. Liverpool Green.
Maybe it can't be EQ'd out.
Liverpool Green.
I need an instrument backing, then I'd know.
Of Liverpool Green.
It's always... One of the worst things you can do is record yourself singing without any instruments.
Liverpool grieves me.
Oh, that's an easy fix, this here. Because in fact, it's the same with whistles. Whistles are really, really bad when they're on their own. They sound really bad. But as soon as you start EQing them, it gets better, particularly when you add reverb.
Grieves me. Grieves me. But my darling...
Interesting.
Me.
I wonder whether I can writing this down. maybe, probably not for this.
It's me.
Actually,
It's me. But my
okay.
darling, when I think of me.
This just needs to be adjusted.
It's me. But my darling,
There we go.
when I think of me.
Yeah, okay. And that's it, done. I don't have denoise on here, do I? Oh, I do. I wonder how much it works.
Farewell to you,
Oh, great.
my home true love. I'm sailing.
See, what I need, I can't update Premiere Pro. I can't update it because for reasons it just won't work. Which Premiere Pro, Adobe added what's it called? A podcast AI. Essentially, it's RTX voice but on steroids. Now, this is built into Premiere Pro now, particularly for beta anyway. And I don't have access to that. So that's the sort of thing that you want to use in this situation, not denoiser, which...
Farewell to you, my home true love. I'm sailing. Farewell.
Because it does that. It's really bad.
My home true love. I'm sailing. Well to you, my home true love. I'm sailing to you, my home true love. I'm sailing far.
I'm just going to leave a noise in. That's literally how you do it. That is, yeah. Then what you do now is you would export this as a master, import that, and then stick an equalizer and see whether or not you can fine tune anything else. I do understand the irony, the fact that I'm doing this in Premiere Pro, not Audition or Ardour. That is simply because Audition is a pain in the backside and I hate it. Ardour isn't installed. And really, you see, in Audition and Premiere have the same basic sound features. They are identical. The thing that Adobe Premiere doesn't have are things like the what are they called, oscilloscopes or something. Yeah, they don't have any of the very specific audio editing tools. You know, frequency wave editing, etc., etc. But what Premiere has that Adobe Audition doesn't have is the fact that for some weird reason, Adobe decided it would be a clever idea to make it so that whenever you applied any effects to audio, you then have to undo the effect with a Control Z. So say you stack a load of effects right onto a track that one is wrong, you then have to remove all of them up to that one effect, and you won't know which one it was necessarily unless you're looking at the undo button, if it even tells you what the last thing of that thing to undo was. I don't remember. So yeah, I don't use Audition. I use Premiere Pro instead because it has all of the features that I need. And I work a lot faster. So there's that. Do I have anything against using Audition? No. Same for any audio program or any program at all. So long as it's usable, it's consistent, and it's dependable and reliable. Forgetting that I know how to use it, some programs are essentially emulators or sound equipment, DACs, but that's a bit over my head, all that. I understand it, I know what the equipment is, I've just never used such equipment, What else? Oh yes, microphones for instruments. This whole EQing thing, it's why you never see an Hello, WhatsApp. It's why you never see an instrument with only one microphone outside of, well, I mean, when it comes to stage performances, things like that, they have shoddy, bog standard, speaker units, loudspeaker units. And then they use Shure SM57s or 58s for literally everything. For that, there isn't even really any point in EQing at all, because all you have... Well, look at it this way. Scion PDAs, they don't have dedicated audio hardware. They generate audio by well, the CPU does it. So anything, and the CPU, if a CPU can't oscillate, do any oscillations beyond its clock, then yeah. So like the 5MX, Series 5MX, I've probably the Revo as well, and 7 and the others, can't speak for the 3 before, can't do anything below 16 kilohertz. Just because of the nature of it. And that's essentially what you're getting on stages, so what's the point in EQing that? And you're using SM58s, come on, you can do better. Well, you can't actually, it's not that kind of a performance in your stage. But, yeah, instruments, bit of a ranty digression there. Instruments, the treble of an accordion, say, for example, when you come to violins, string instruments, things like that, pianos, doesn't matter, because it's just all one thing. But with accordions, you have a treble and you have a bass, which means that you have two different things. You can't EQ one and then EQ one and then EQ the other as the same track. It doesn't work like that, because at that point, what sounds good for the bass isn't going to... What do you have to take out of it? I should have put that on mute. What you have to take out of the bass isn't the same as the treble. So what you're going to end up with is stuff missing from the bass and stuff missing from the treble. And then the things that you have to add to the treble, you might need removing from the bass. So it just ends up being unusable. So you have two microphones. And at that point, you have directional mics, probably cardioid or supercardioid at that point, and you have two of them. And for that specifically, you want a ribbon microphone. Yes, they're a lot more expensive, but that's what you get. These things are cardioid. I used the Rode NT2A for the bass, because it's bass, and I used the AT2020 for the treble side, and that's all well and good. It works, it works. And in my opinion, informed or not, that's not really, don't really want to, it works. Of course, you have bellows. The only issue then is you have bellows and you're constantly moving. So you have a difference in amplitude, a difference in the proximity effect because of that as well. because you're constantly moving around, and at that point you can't counter for that. It doesn't matter how much programming you do with amplification, it just won't work. You can't EQ around that, which is why at that point, fine, have one of these cardioids for the treble. Personally, I think it sounds much better than spending 500. That 500 steep. Admittedly, I am just over exaggerating on the price there. For a clip-on mic, I would get one fitted inside the bass. Or Andy Cutting, matter of fact, he has a PZM. Who knows whether it's a Radio Shack PZM or anything like that. It looks like one. It doesn't really matter, quite honestly. Which, as long as it's good. I mean, the Radio Shack ones are cheaper. A lot cheaper than the others that you could get at the time. While looking practically identical. You can still get PZMs. And his, it works for him. It's... Actually, I don't know how it's attached. I believe it's Velcro or screwed in. Probably Velcro. And then he has a clip-on for the treble. And if you're constantly switching instruments, like I think it's John Spires. He has magnetic attachments. He has magnetic attachments for his microphones. So he has, say, 3 boxes, and each one and multiple microphones. And when he wants to move box, he merely just pops one off, swaps the melodian, pops it back, pops it on the other, which is a genius idea. And actually, at some point, I want one fitted to mine. And it's the same story with accordions. Harmonicas are, just use one of these for harmonica that I'm speaking through now. But there you go. And how long have I? 48 minutes. Oh, that's a bit steep. That's long. I have some editing to do.